Oh, hi, John. I did not hit her. I did not. I did not. Oh, hi, John. Some levity after our bullshit of setting up this damn stream. By the way, OBS and Skype, they hate each other, so now we know.
Oh, so this was a whole petty argument between both apps, huh?
Yeah, and I'm the, what is it, intermediary, which means I'm going to kick somebody's ass as soon as we get off of this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why you never get in the middle of a brawl fight, man. You know what I mean? You're the ones that ends up getting hit or stabbed or something, so.
Yeah, no shit. Except for I'm the one that's going to be doing all the hitting and stabbing here.
Nice. You should wear those Tommy Wiseau glasses while you're at it.
Of course. You got to start with who we saw.
For like The Edge. Remember that video from YouTube? What's the name of that song? I forgot, but it was just at The Edge sitting down, and he was wearing the black glasses, and everybody was like talking to him while he just stayed in the frame. Remember that video?
Oh, the one that they were like touching his face and stuff.
Exactly, something like that.
You remember the name of that?
I forgot the name of that song, but it was Edge's song. It was when YouTube was getting experimental because
Here.
it had nothing else to do with their time.
Here, I can actually play it on the stream. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it.
Yeah, that song.
So that's me in the middle of Skype and OBS. I don't want to play too much so we don't get a copyright strike.
Yeah. But anyways, so.
Oops. Shit. Alright, so first stream, there's going to be bugs. Deal with it. And if you don't like it, go ahead and comment you don't like it. If you like it, then we'll screw up more often. I think that's going to be a lot easier than not screwing up. So, there we go. Anyways, this is FinalTake's first live stream. This is my buddy, John Rojas. We used to do the Bitter Balcony podcast. And I remember this morning, it's been about 2 years since we did anything in front of an audience of any type, which was at Crypticon when we mediated, or what's the word? We did that panel. What is it?
We were.
It wasn't host. There's a word for it. All right, whatever. Who cares? Anyways, welcome to FinalTake.
We're there to like.
What's that? Did I lose your audio on live? Fantastic.
Welcome. So.
Now hold on, you're like skipping around.
Oh really? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hello?
Yeah, it skipped for a minute, but now it's back. Holy Jesus. Anyways, so I just wanted to have a short discussion on what the intention was for the show and introduce ourselves and whatever else we wanted to talk about. If we want to talk about all the crappy movies and shows that are coming out. I mean, great shows and movies that are coming out. No sarcasm there.
2017 was actually a surprisingly decent year for movies, man.
Yeah, there was a few. You're breaking up now. Jesus, this is embarrassing. I don't understand what's going on. Hey, hold on. I can't hear you. What is the deal? Oh my god, I hate Skype. I get it now why everybody hates Skype. I can't hear you. John, are you there? Oh wait, you might be back.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back now. I don't know what happened. So anyways, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Alright. Well, my name's John. The other half of Bitter Balcony. We ran pretty much film reviews and takes or whatever for about almost 5-6 years.
5-6 years. I think we almost did 10 years, man.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah, I gotta look back
fast, man.
I gotta look back, but it's about 10 years. It's like 9-10 years.
Oh, okay. Well, we did that. We're also, I studied film, Mandate Community College for about 2 years. Got an AS in film. Worked at a TV studio for a while. Did work with Bitter Balcony. Did some minor, some projects along the way. And that's pretty much it. Just trying to get back into the revival or the rebirth of Bitter Balcony, known as FinalTake.
The reimagining.
The reimagining.
Hey, you know what I figured? I figured Hollywood reboots so much shit that we may as well do like a reboot or a relaunch.
Exactly.
But this time, 75% less bitter, if I can manage.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, they probably could have recasted the leads though.
Hey, whatever, man. I've been working out. Can't you tell?
Yeah, man. You have a 6-pack there, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a 6-pack somewhere. I'm gonna need it after this stream.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a 6-pack that's happening.
Yeah.
Oh well, man. But whatever, man. We'll see how it goes. It's the first streaming thing that we do, so let's give it a go.
Yeah. Well, so I'm Jas. I make short films. I worked on a feature called Shadows and Forms, of which I'll have some of the cast members, hopefully. I'll have the director, and hopefully next week I'll have either one or both of the producers on the show to talk about the specifics of being a producer on an independent movie that was financed through a Kickstarter campaign. I think that'll be kind of interesting for the audience to kind of, get some insight into. Hopefully some stuff that normally doesn't get talked about could be talked about, and hopefully it helps somebody with their own Kickstarter campaign at some point. And I have some editors, some directors, and some writers that will also be on the show at some point. And so the basic gist of what I want to do with FinalTake is not just do movie reviews, but specifically I want to do movie reviews, sure, with John, discussing movies, movie news, and that sort of thing. I would also like to start discussing how you make a movie with filmmakers, like writers, directors, editors, producers, to give people that don't normally make movies, that might want to make movies, more of a sense of what goes into making a movie or a short film, and anything from the inception of an idea all the way through distribution, and budgeting, and all the fun and not so fun stuff. And then as a third aspect of FinalTake, what I want to do is I want to do a series of pre-recorded, pre-edited videos that will teach, anything from the basics to advanced photography. We'll give you a sense of what editing is like. I might take a scene out of Shadows and Forms and then, discuss how I edited it, and show alternate edits, maybe extended edits or shorter edits, and then discuss why there's differences, so that people can understand the editing process with something more visual, or the photography process with something more visual. And obviously these will be a little more technical. They won't be as informal as like the discussion we're trying to have now. And yeah, that's kind of where I want to go with FinalTake in the future. And hopefully next week we'll have the first interview. What do you want to contribute to FinalTake, John?
Me? I'm just here for the donuts.
We have donuts?
Nah, I don't think it fits the budget.
We have a budget?
I'm saying this, I think this is kind of like the extension of what we're trying to originally do with Bitter Balcony and the podcast that we did a couple of years ago. I also hope that this time around I'm able to actually introduce colleagues that are actually also, trying to immerse themselves in the film industry, and not only get their insights, but also try to understand their techniques that can actually probably assist to what the ultimate vision of FinalTake is. perhaps has like a panel where we can discuss things that work or don't work in our projects, and perhaps go a little bit more technical than we have in the past.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to show more of the technical side and more of, especially like getting a producer on and discussing, because I don't think people really understand what production work is. I mean, it has to do with all the scheduling, gathering the money, organizing the money, allocating money, and then keeping the production on track during production, and then keeping it on track during post production, and until the product is finished. And then after that, people like me, who were the director of photography or editor, we kind of walk away. And then the whole just dealing with the distribution and selling it or getting it into film festivals, that side of the whole thing takes over, where normally I'm not that involved. So I think, get some insight into that as well.
All right. Sounds good, man.
So, and then as a shameless plug, I wanted to plug a cool thing that I got in the mail the other day. I got this in the mail, if you can see it, which is one of the short films I shot called The Package. That's a scene from it right there. That shows up in it. I thought that was pretty nifty. I put links to it down below if people want to check it out. I think it's kind of cool to get a DVD release of that, and I have a DVD release through the same company of The Shun House, which I edited and did sound design for, so that's kind of cool. Shameless plug. I'm not really making money off of it, but it's something nice to share, and hopefully people will get interested and check it out. And so yeah. So what have you?
That's cool. Where can I order that DVD?
Why, thanks for asking, John. You can go to Amazon.com and order it. And if you're lazy, just go to the low bar in this video and click the link below.
Oh, man. See, that's my contribution right there. You know what I mean? Just be kind of like the hype man.
To be the hype man to my awkward selling a DVD I'm not really selling.
Exactly. Oh, man. So, I guess we could get this going. So, like, what have you been up to, man?
Nothing much, man. I haven't been going to the theaters that much. We did go see Blade Runner 2049 together. And I heard 2 days ago that there's a 4-hour cut of that exists. So now I'm going to start, trying to find longer cuts of the new Blade Runner, just like I try to find longer cuts of the original Blade Runner.
Are they going to, do you know if they're going to release that on the Blu-ray release? Or?
From what I understand, no, they're not going to release it on the Blu-ray.
They're just going to milk that for another 10 years, right? Like, they're going to have to...
Well, they'll sell the theatrical cut, and then they'll do the director's cut, and then they'll do the ultra special, Voight-Kampf packaged 4-hour or 3.5-hour cut with 30 minutes of deleted footage, and then in 20 years we'll get a 4-hour cut where everything's cut together.
Yeah, you will have like every 10 years, every 5 years, you can release a cut of it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And that's how they make their profit back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The box office bomb that it was, you know what I mean? Just release it in increments and milk it.
Well, hey, you spend, 2-3 years doing one of these projects and then milk it for 10.
It worked for Scott. I can't see why it doesn't work for the new, you know?
Right. Well, Ridley Scott, did you hear Ridley Scott?
Villeneuve or Villeneuve? No, it's Denis Villeneuve.
Villeneuve? I can never say it right, so I don't even try.
Villeneuve, I don't know.
A rival director.
Exactly. You heard that Ridley Scott he was kind of critical of Blade Runner 2049? He said it was a little bit long.
Oh, yeah, I heard that he said it was long. He says, though, that he has a Blade Runner 3 that's been pretty developed that he wants to do if he can manage to get a budget to have another flop that'll be, a cult classic in 20 years.
Well, I'd be curious to see a third one, but Ridley Scott would like to direct it, right?
He didn't say. He just says he has a story that's fairly well developed that he wants to kind of explore, I guess. We'll see.
Is it a good thing that Harrison Ford's going to live to 140, right?
Well, he better if he keeps remaking all his properties. I mean, there's only so many you could do a year.
I know. Is he doing Indiana Jones also in a year or so?
Yeah, he says he wants to do another Indiana Jones. That was part of the deal to go back to Star Wars, from what I understand. I don't know, man.
Really?
After the Crystal Skull,
I didn't mind elements of that movie as much as you did.
I did not like that movie.
Cut the Shia LaBeouf swinging with monkeys, right? And cut the nuclear bomb and you survive inside a fridge. You know, the rest of the movie's still alright.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not great.
I mean, like, you discover aliens. You know, there's so much more to discover after that for Indiana Jones. Sure. Yeah.
He discovers God, like in Star Trek 5.
That's it. Wouldn't this be the fifth one? Right?
It would be the fifth one, yeah.
There you go.
Like, by the time Francis gets to the fifth movie, then
you have to look for God.
You have to look for God. There's nothing else to look for. That's going to collect in your museum, you know?
Right. So wait, Terminator's already had 5 sequels? They didn't have a Search for God, right? Did they?
Well, they got to. Remember the original storyline got to 4. The one that McG did was the 4th one, and then they cut after that. Then they did the Genesis, which start over again, and that didn't go anywhere.
Oh, so I guess they're not technically on a canon 5.
And now it's a whole like 3 and Rise of the Machines never happened, and
right.
The old Christian Bale never happened, Salvation. So they're gonna start from part 2, like where they left off. So
at least it's in the hands of James Cameron this time. He's not directing, but because he has to spend the next 50 years doing Avatar sequels that we all want.
Yeah, I know. That's so exciting, right? I don't know. It'll probably end up being. I personally think the Terminator franchise should just die. Like those movies were fine with it.
I don't know.
Were, man.
If Cameron says that he has something interesting for another couple movies and he has these people developing the idea further, I trust the guy enough that I'd be interested to at least see what they're going to be about. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's not the kind of guy who craps out sequels just to make a buck. Unless
Avatar.
Unless Avatar goes that route, and if it does, well then there we go. Now we know.
Exactly, man. It wasn't crazy like between the first Avatar movie to this one, Sam Morrison went from like a household name to like an unknown. What happened to that dude's career, man? Like he just disappeared.
He did 2 Clash of the Titans, man.
That's right. Well, this one actually did well, but then I don't know what happened. He was actually trying to do some raw, he did a death, I think, a movie with Ellen Mirren, and it was that movie Man on the Ledge that ended his career. I don't know what happened there. I didn't really saw it, but
was that like Phone Booth but on a ledge?
Exactly. Yeah. Like he's like on top of a building or something. I don't know.
Sounds intriguing.
Exactly. So. Yeah, man, I've actually seen quite a bit of movies the last month or so. I mean, obviously, Last Jedi, I saw that. I saw All the Money in the World. I saw. What did I get to see recently? Wow. What are they having like?
Baby Driver? You saw Baby Driver, right?
I did see Baby Driver. Yeah, I did see Baby Driver recently. Been watching some TV shows, stuff like that. I saw whole Black Mirror, the 4th season.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That 4th season, man. If that 4th season is gonna predict the future of that series, I'm okay with it not going anymore.
Yeah, it was the weakest season out of the 4. I think it's like I told you earlier. I think that they're going into maybe they're forcing. They're probably forcing product a little bit quicker. You know what I mean? Because the season actually, it felt that some of the elements, some of the darkness was taken away from the series.
Yeah, and like the twist endings for some of them weren't really, the payoff wasn't that great. I mean, I guess we could avoid spoilers, but they were kind of just like, really, that's it?
Look, man, if nobody fucks a pig, what's the point of watching the show, right?
Right. Well, if you don't end up feeling a little filthy at the end of each episode, I don't think that show's doing what it should do.
Yeah, I think it didn't need that sting, you know what I mean? And that's what kind of bothered me throughout the season, you know what I mean? It was like, there was some darkness lacking in it.
And I don't mind like the
There
happier
was some
episodes.
confusion, I think, you know?
I don't mind the happier episodes that they've tried either. Like the one with the I mean, again, not to spoil it, but the VR one, that one with you know, that I thought that was great. The writing in that episode is fantastic. You know, and in this season, the dating one is pretty good too.
Yeah, one thing that I'm kind of like, by watching like the last couple seasons of Black Mirror is that what's his name, Booker, Charlie Booker, like look, he's very dystopian in his vision, but at his core, he's a romantic.
Yeah.
Because he actually has written two amazing like love stories back-to-back seasons. So obviously, San Junipero and this last one, which was Hang the DJ, probably you know, a tribute to the Smiths, which was a very nice touch, by the way.
Oh, I didn't get that. No.
Yeah, that's from Panic, song Panic. That's the chorus. But I thought that was pretty neat. But I mean, going forward, what do you think the show should head towards? What tone does it need to change? I mean, they've got some pretty legit directors on this in this season. You know, I mean, John Hillcoat, David Slade, Jodie Foster.
I don't know. I was thinking about that. Do you think that? I mean, the show doesn't stray from going into the sci-fi side of things, but they try to stay more in the grounded sci-fi, like shit that can actually happen. I don't see them ever like approaching the topic of like aliens, but I wouldn't mind seeing them cover something like that. I think they could do something interesting with it, something twisted.
Well, now with the report that came out like about a month ago that there was like that linked footage that was released where they actually, you know, had footage of a potential UFO. I think that it would be a pretty prime time to actually make an episode along those lines, you know.
I think so. I don't really see why they wouldn't, you know, be able to go there. I mean, essentially, I mean, it's an anthology series anyway, so it's like Outer Limits, just dark.
I actually kind of think that one of the ideas that came to me was that it would be kind of neat if they actually did maybe like an episode that took place in the past, maybe during like the Medicare incorporate like steampunk, you know what I mean, or maybe like wasn't it engine steam or like
yeah, steampunk.
Steampunk, you know what I mean, some element of that, or maybe I was thinking like maybe you could create some episode where there's an alternate timeline where some of this technology happened like 50 years ago, and see how that would have actually changed the dynamic of that course of history. I think that'd be kind of interesting.
Well, I could even see them doing something interesting with like the whole, you know, Nazis won instead of the West, I guess, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, didn't they make that already with Man in High Castle? Or?
I guess. I don't know. I only saw the first season. I completely forgot about the second season up until like 3 days ago, where I was like, "Oh yeah, that came out." Is that still going, or is that canceled?
Well, we're really out of touch.
Your latest movie news with FinalTake. We don't know what the f is going on.
We can talk about movies from like '89.
Okay, hold on. I'll find out.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's still going on.
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be a season 3. Yeah, production's underway for season 3. So, did you see? Did you manage to catch The Tick?
No, I haven't gotten around to it yet.
I kind of liked it, and the trailer for the second season looks pretty good. I still say that first original go at it should have gotten the second season, not the animated, but the live action.
Yeah, the one with Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
Well, do you think it's one of those cases where that show was probably just a little bit ahead of its time? I mean, not to say there was this brilliant,
groundbreaking
show, but that tone probably could have worked in an era where like we need more content. You know what I mean? I think it would have found enough of an audience to justify its continuation. You know?
That's why I kind of wish it had one more season so people can understand what they were trying to go for. You know, because I mean, it was essentially Seinfeld with superheroes.
Yeah, that was the tone of it. It took a minute to develop to get there, I think, but once it did, I think it would eventually found, especially that came out like in 2004, 2003, something like that.
Yeah, I think 2003. Yeah, it was 2004, I think, yeah.
You see that once again, like that's what I was saying. So like, if that show would come out maybe 2012, when we're in the superhero age, I think kind of would have been a good counter to what Marvel does or DC's trying to do.
That's true. It was before the whole superhero blowing up thing.
Exactly, you know. So, like I said, I think it was probably just a little bit ahead of its time in terms of tone, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, it is because that was like what right before Spider-Man.
Spider-Man came out. The first one came out in 2002. The one that Sam Raimi did.
So it was around when the second one was about to come out. So it was still before any of the craze started.
Yeah, exactly. I would say like maybe like around when Marvel did Iron Man 2008. That's where it just really. I mean, it was already blown up, you know, with X-Men and whatnot. But that's when it became more of a, you know, when they actually did the whole multiverse and stuff like that.
Yeah. You know, where everything started to become connected, not just one-off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I think it probably could have worked, but I don't know. Sometimes shows like to find their audience, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess part of that was timing. I don't know. Have you seen any of the shows like The Gifted or Runaways that Marvel's putting out on Hulu and Fox? I think.
I've only seen the Netflix ones, like
Daredevil, Punisher.
But I saw Punisher recently.
Daredevil was great. Punisher was pretty good too. It had issues, but it was still pretty good. I couldn't really get that into the what is it, the Defenders.
Oh, Defenders. It's all right.
It was it was pretty forgettable.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I going back to Punisher, I really liked it, even though it did have some, you know, some plots. I mean, some plot devices that didn't go anywhere, or you know, like some tropes that it stumbles across just to get the story going, which was, you know, whatever. But one thing that was very interesting is that I like the depiction of Frank Castle, you know, and the whole kind of like that sort of post-traumatic, you know, soldier that goes back into the real world, tries to incorporate himself into it. And I thought that was kind of like an interesting take. It's probably the most mature take that I've seen on that from a work of fiction. And at least in terms of like, you know, something that's like comic book related, like they really nailed that very well.
Mm-hmm.
It's very compelling. I thought it was interesting that he was still very prone to violence, even before, like that scene where he's on the ferry and going to Staten Island, and his kid's kind of like ragging, and then he just grabs the kid and he tells them to like kind of like calm down, but in a very aggressive way. Kind of shows that he kind of always had that sort of like seed of aggression and violence in him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty neat. You know, I mean, I think that as far as developing, you know, expand that character further, I think it definitely can go another season.
It's already been renewed for another season.
Yeah, it's already been renewed.
Yeah.
But what I would like to see for next season, though, it'd be kind of neat to see kind of like, obviously him going back to like probably going after mobsters and organized crime, and perhaps
Kingpin.
You know, we got a little bit of a semblance with Micro, when he's in the woods and he's kind of like directing Punisher all over, you know, pretty much helping him out in his tactics. But it would be cool in this next season for him to actually be that guide more consistently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was still in the setup, and they're trying to make it look all nitty gritty, so things aren't going to just fall into place right away.
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, it was kind of like not introduction character, because they did that in Daredevil season 2, but it was, you know, a way to actually get him established and whatnot.
Now, did you read? Because I thought I read somewhere that this season 1 of Punisher takes place before he appears in Daredevil.
Oh, really?
That's what I think I read that somewhere. And if that's the case, then I hope season 2 kind of ramps up so that he gets as angry as he is when he meets Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't see how you go from season 1 the way that he left off to Daredevil, where he's obviously very pissed off and trying to get even with people, you know?
But it's weird because this season starts off 6 months that he hasn't done the Punisher.
That's true. See, I don't know. I don't understand. I read that somewhere, and I kind of didn't. I should have followed through on what they were saying.
That's weird, man. I thought it was like I thought they justified the whole the events of Daredevil just because it was a 6 month gap. But they happened before. I'm not sure how that necessarily fits. It might, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. I probably shouldn't have brought it up without actually knowing what the hell I was talking about. See, yeah, there are people here asking when does it take place, but whatever. I'll figure it out and I'll bring it up on the next episode just so people know that I did my research, I did my due diligence instead of just bringing up crap willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly. That's something you'll never hear Punisher say.
Willy-nilly.
I was going to try to imitate the guy who plays Punisher, but I'm going to totally botch it, so I'm not even going to try it.
So now speaking about Punisher, like we had this, you wrote this article with Bitter Balcony a few years ago where you were saying that of all the incarnations of the Punisher, that your favorite one is Ray Stevenson in Punisher Warzone. And after watching, this the TV version and John Bernthald's performance, he's excellent as Punisher, by the way. But I really like what Ray Stevenson does better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like after, and it's kind of like, I think for me the best description of Punisher in a movie was, or a TV show was in that scene in Warzone where he goes inside that kitchen where the hooligan has the girl in his hands, and he manages to rescue the girl, and he hugs her, and then he just grabs his shotgun and blows the other guy's the goon's head. Like nothing. At the same moment, it's like, he's being all tender and comforting, and at the same token, he's just very, the disregard he has towards those he punishes.
Yeah.
Punisher. You know, man, I like that there's not a lot of necessarily there's that much concern or any type of real rage towards these people. At this point, it's just like something he needs to eradicate.
Yeah,
he doesn't look back. You know what I mean? I think that's what Ray Stevenson got right, or at least that movie got right.
Yeah.
And it's a flawed film. I mean, it's really a bad movie.
It's deeply flawed.
It's very bad. You know what I mean? But that aspect was handled correctly. It's unfortunate because, because the movie being so bad, people would just not even think about Ray Stevenson doing a good job as the Punisher. But he was pretty excellent in an otherwise bad film.
Yeah, the whole thing that killed that movie was Jigsaw and his whole presidential speech to gather the different gangs to be on his side.
Yeah, it's still kind of like one of those pre-Marvel era where they still don't know how to handle comic book movies. You know what I mean? There's that element of one incorporates some element of realism, but it's also that element of just being kind of hokey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's what dooms that film. You know, I mean, it's could have just been more brass tactics and just kind of like something a little bit more violent and a little bit more guerrilla style.
Yeah,
would have worked a lot better for that movie.
Yeah,
than the high gloss kind of look that it has.
Yeah, I agree. And they're setting up Jigsaw for season 2, from what I understand. So.
Yeah, they.
Once I hear Jigsaw, I get nervous, man. After that movie.
Well, they got they changed the storyline from being like the hitman, you know what I mean, for the mafia, into being his his colleague during when he was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that comes out. You know what I mean? That's we shall see.
Netflix has been doing a pretty good job, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It's just that, God, that Jigsaw from that movie was so bad. Yeesh.
Yeah, Netflix To be honest, I really love the 2 Daredevil seasons. Jessica Jones was fine. Luke Cage, I kind of struggled to get into it, even though Mike Colton as Luke Cage, does a really good job. And I love Iron Fist, man, but I love it because it's crap. Because it's like, it's like everybody really hates it, and they have the right to hate it. You know what I mean? Because it's stupid. But that's what I like about it, because that dude, Danny Rand, like, he's the most, to be honest, he's like the most delusional character I've seen as a superhero in quite some time. That dude has no self-awareness.
No.
If they play for more humor, that show would be great, because he is like so, not only like self-awareness, but he just kind of like, he's like a child, man.
He is. He's a kid. And that's the thing that kind of bothered me. It's like, yeah, I think making him unself-aware is perfect, but I think they did it the wrong way. I think they did it that he's so unself-aware that he's foolish and he's overly optimistic and he thinks he can handle anything. I think the thing is, if he was raised as a kid by these people and he was indoctrinated to believe that he's the one and he's the only person that could save, I think he'd be a lot more serious about it and not that naive. He'd still be, unself-aware, but it would come from a place of like, I'm righteous and I need to do this for a righteous cause. You know what I mean? Not, and then there's a whole, like, the guy knows how to drive, even though he hasn't seen a car since he was, 12 or 9? But he can drive the car like nothing. I mean, do they drive camels in the Himalayas the same way as they drive cars? I mean, I don't know.
And he has like the lamest power, which is just summoning the power of his hand turning gold.
Yeah, and I guess he could heal it. Yay!
It's like the episode, was it the Rick and Morty episode? What's the defense? Wasn't it like those characters?
Oh yeah, I know what episode you're talking about. I forgot the name of the team though. Shit, what was that? That episode was good too. Are you still there? The Vindicators.
Yeah, yeah, man.
The Vindicators. Isn't that a Marvel team? I think that's a Marvel team too. Oh no, I think there's a hero called the Vindicator, but it's not a team.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I don't know.
Our lack of research, we're gonna get slammed by like fanboys, man. We're gonna get chopped in pieces.
So we got a question in the comments section that says, "Can you tell me about The Shape of Water? I love your show." Well, thank you for loving the show. And The Shape of Water, I haven't seen it. It did win 3 Golden Globes?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, you saw it? Go ahead and inform us.
No, it's definitely one of the more visionary movies that came out last year. The Troll signature style, with a lot of, he uses a lot of green in his palettes, and very detailed set design. It takes place in the 50s, if I'm not mistaken. Beautifully shot. But the thing I liked about this movie the most was that the portrayal of its lead, Sadie Hawkins. I forgot the name of her character. Reminded me very similar in how Lost Frontier, kids heroines with Breaking the Waves and Dancing in the Dark, where there is a certain element of nativity and even like some handicap that makes them kind of like very sympathetic and almost makes you it makes you really identify with their when they fall in love and with their sacrifice. And I think that's a very there was something that was very intriguing about this movie that I really connected to. Everybody's excellent. Sadie Hawkins was amazing. She's deaf in the movie, so a lot of what she needs to connote is obviously like with her expressions and whatnot. She was great. Michael Shannon he kind of plays the heavy in this movie, and that dude, honestly, like he has a sort of like very calm menace to his performances that have made him into one of the better American actors out there. Richard Jenkins is American Treasure. Going back to like his work with Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah.
That dude is just that sir is a great American actor. Olivia Spencer was great too. As
Octavia Spencer.
Octavia Spencer, yeah, she was excellent as Lee's best friend. I really can't say enough about it.
Well, and
it's one of his best films. It's actually one of his better films in terms of context. You know what I mean? Because the movie, like Pacific Rim is awesome. I love Pacific Rim, but it's a fluff film. You know,
sure.
I mean? There's not a lot of depth to it. And even Crimson Peak, even though aesthetically grandiose, is also kind of light when it comes to the previous stuff he's done. This is more along the lines of Pan's Labyrinth, Devil's Backbone.
That's what I was going to ask.
Even Kronos. He has more of that kind of like, the depth. And also there's a political element to this film because he's essentially mirroring 1950s Red Scare paranoia with some of the contemporary problems we're having with sexism, racism, gender, and pretty much the political climate in Trump's presidency. So I thought that was kind of like an interesting, analogy with The Shape of Water.
I got the impression, I didn't see the, excuse me, I didn't see the Red Band trailer, but I got the impression that this movie was going to have a couple uncomfortable gore scenes, like in Pan's Labyrinth.
It had some violence to it, sure. I found for me though, like the aspect that might make people a little bit more uncomfortable was actually the sexual nature of this film, which got me a little bit by surprise too. I mean, I understand coming in that it was going to be a romance between the human lead and the amphibian character. It's played by Doug Jones, but I'll say this: it's not. I think it can make some people uncomfortable because you talk about interspecies sex, you know what I mean? And
so it's like
I think you have to go in with a little bit of an open mind, especially if you're not too accustomed to Guillermo del Toro's filmmaking. So I thought that was, it was a pretty bold approach, and you have to make it. The fact that it becomes touching and sympathetic, because it could have gone Howard the Duck style. Where all of a sudden it's like it's ridiculous.
That's what I was going to bring up, yeah.
Sex with Leah Thompson,
Yeah, like, bestiality like in Howard the Duck.
Exactly, or like it has to kind of like it really toes the line between being something that's uncomfortable but also has to be empathetic. And credit to Del Toro and to the performers that they were able to nail it. It's an excellent film. You know what I mean? Like I really enjoyed it.
Doug Jones is one of those actors that's hard to talk to people about that aren't into film because it's like, you've seen this guy in 20, 30 roles in TV shows and movies, but you're never going to know who he is when you look at his face. Because he's always the amphibious creature. He's always the really lanky alien. Like he's in Star Trek Discovery as that weird skinny alien that can foresee death coming. He's the amphibian in this. He's the amphibian in Hellboy.
Well, he was in Pan's Labyrinth too. He's already worked a few times with Del Toro, but in Conceited, or in
costume, yeah,
or prosthetics. So, but he's a very talented physical performer.
Yeah,
I think if you're gonna end up if you're gonna find that niche as somebody that has to don a costume, then you have to be graceful in other aspects.
Well, he's like Andy Serkis is what Andy Serkis is to motion capture what he is to like creature costumes.
Exactly. You know what I mean? He's actually kind of like earned that, how do you call it? He's kind of like reigns in that niche,
Yeah, and that's a great niche.
Oh, yeah, and you're always going to get work if somebody needs like some creature. They don't CGI or something, you know what I mean? So. But,
well, now that so many people are wanting to do more practical effects, I mean, that's even better for him.
Exactly, exactly. But I I would say this much about Guillermo del Toro. Like I really got this while I was watching Crimson Peak that he is on the same level as Tim Burton as guys who have aesthetically defined a style.
Yeah.
Not just necessarily like with their cinematography, but just the overall tone and set design and feel like they've created these worlds where it pertains directly to that filmmaker.
Right.
That's a very huge accomplishment because I think that as much as Tim Burton gets praised, I don't think Guillermo del Toro gets praised as much as he does. And I could be wrong about that. But I would probably say they're both in the same level. They both have similar work when it comes to that.
And the thing is that Guillermo del Toro hasn't had like a Beetlejuice or, you know, I mean, I won't really say Batman, even though Batman probably did help Tim Burton's name. But more like a Beetlejuice, where it's like a real big hit that has his style, his storytelling to kind of define him to the public eye.
Well, I think that Guillermo del Toro is also a little bit more. I think his more substantial films,
Sure,
like Shape of Water, tend to be a little bit more indie and a little bit more. There's a little bit more context in terms of the undertones of politics and the undertones of humanity, where I think Tim Burton's more mainstream films have a little bit more of a. How do you call it? I think that Tim Burton's mainstream movies make just a better connection with people. Maybe there's some sense of like, maybe there is something there that connects better than with the Toro's mainstream movies. I don't know, maybe the Toro's mainstream movies don't have necessarily the depth that Tim Burton's mainstream movies have. I'm not sure.
I can see that. That's not speaking disparaging. That's not disparaging his talent in any way. It's just the themes that he explores and how he explores them are perhaps not as easily digestible by modern, you know, your typical modern audience.
I don't think Tim Burton has a lot of. None of his movies don't have death, but they don't really have that context.
Well, and they don't have the violence and stuff that's uncomfortable. It's more like hokey, you know, comedic, cartoony even, you know.
Exactly,
Yeah.
you know.
Which makes sense because he used to work
Mind
for
you,
Disney.
I actually would have. I wish Tim Burton would have kept the trajectory he did when he did Big Fish, because Big Fish was great. I know it's like I said, I don't know if it's as a fan favorite as the films that we've mentioned, but that was an excellent movie.
Yeah.
That was going to him. It's expanding into a different, into a different stage in his career. But then he went back and did, the remix of Charlie, the Chocolate Factory, and the Planet of the Apes, and like the Alice in Wonderland.
You don't even have to point out specifics, man. When I hear Tim Burton and remake, I know it's going to be a failure. That guy, because typically when people are doing a remake, they go, okay, these are the 5 things that we can't change. Maybe we can update them, but we can't change them. And then these are the things that we could, take out or change to modernize or whatever. Like, you don't mess with the Oompa Loompas. You don't make the humans talk in Planet of the Apes, not at the start anyways. Like, he does all these things, and I think he thinks he's being clever. Like, oh, they talk this time. Yeah, but dude, if they talk this time, then the apes have no reason for why they think that they don't have a soul. The whole thing was flipping, like how apes in our world don't speak. We could say, oh, they don't have a soul. They can't understand the Bible, or they can't understand religion. They don't understand God because they can't speak and they can't comprehend. So we think they don't have a soul. And then you take that and you flip it where man can't talk and the apes can, and they think the same thing in reverse. But if man can talk or can speak to the same level that the apes can, where do they come to this conclusion that they don't have a soul because they can't possibly comprehend this stuff that they can read and write and talk about and debate about? Where does that, like, you have to, if you're going to take that route, you have to explain further why they think these people don't have the capacity to have a soul or to have, higher intellect when they're obviously like very equivalent to you. And like that, anyways, I got off on a tangent a little bit, but the whole point is he kind of changes the things you shouldn't change when you're doing, remakes.
But you think that's his main? What do you find it that that's why these remakes have been unsuccessful in your eyes?
I think so. I think for the most part, yeah. And while I didn't have a problem with it, an example of that could be when he did Batman. How you told me in the commentary, like people were complaining there's hardly any Batman in Batman. And he said it because, I thought Batman, Bruce Wayne would like his privacy. I understand that, but at the same time, the title of the movie is Batman. People are there to see Batman. As great as, Jack Nicholson was in that role, we're still there to see Batman. Don't give me, 15 minutes of Batman and, 55 minutes of the Joker, because it's not called the Joker.
Yeah, he mentioned that more in the Batman Returns sequel, that we don't see Batman until, 15 minutes in the movie or something like that. You know what I mean? That it was kind of like he reinterprets Batman as a character that respects his privacy. But it seems that with me, like as far as like his remakes, I just find that it's visually he's always gonna be excellent. Like his movies always look beautiful. They always capture, he creates a world, and that alone, has its merits. But somehow, like in those movies that we mentioned, I just can't get engaged with the characters, especially like with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I couldn't relate to what Johnny Depp was trying to do with that character. It never felt like that character was either menacing enough or, he just kind of felt like an alien.
Yeah, like, I don't dislike the character. Take away the name Willy Wonka. I don't dislike the character that he did. I kind of like the character he did, but he's not Willy Wonka. It's the same thing that I say about, like, the Aeon Flux movie. It's not a bad sci-fi movie if you take away the title Aeon Flux. If it's just, District 27, then yeah, it's a cool movie that has some action, some sci-fi, and it's got an interesting story. But the minute you slap Aeon Flux on there, you look at it and you go, that's not Aeon Flux.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, he gave a good performance, the character was interesting, but it's not Willy Wonka.
Mm.
So yeah, I agree. I don't know if he does it because he thinks he's being clever or what the deal is. Like,
well, I think what happens in a lot of these remakes is that they are remaking movies that are, I don't want to say perfect movies, but they're very like, you know what I mean? They're very well constructed stories. You know what I mean? Like the original Planet of the Apes is pretty perfect for a sci-fi film. You know what I mean? To like reimagine that, like it's the way they're trying to do. It's kind of like it falls into those same problems that you're saying. Like we have to kind of like make the humans. How do you call it? Like we have to do some things differently just to kind of like update it that perhaps don't work as well as they should,
Yeah. I don't know. I would prefer that he just doesn't do any more remakes. My own personal opinion, I don't think he does them well. And I actually really would just prefer that he goes and he focuses on doing movies more like his normal stuff, like his Beetlejuice, and even though he didn't direct it, his Nightmare Before Christmas, that style stuff that he does. I don't know if maybe he's run dry of ideas, but I'd rather see more of that stuff out of him than, or something like Big Fish, than any Willy Wonka or any, Alice in Wonderland or Mars Attacks, or, any of those that they just don't work. Like him in remakes just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I see. So, let's see what else. But yeah, going back to Shape of Water, definitely recommend it. For anybody that's out there listening, it's worth a look if you haven't seen it already. Still not my favorite Del Toro movie. I am still very much a fan of The Devil's Backbone.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's definitely his best film since perhaps Pan's Labyrinth.
What is it? La Espinosa del Diablo? El Espinazo del Diablo.
El Espinazo.
Joder.
Well, Pan is el laberinto del fauna.
El laberinto del fauna. Yo soy el fauna.
Yeah, who's Pan? Like, you have to come up with some name for the faun.
Pan in Spanish is bread, so what are we looking for?
Yeah, but in his native language, like there's no character in that movie called Pan, right?
Well, I think in the English one, I think fauna is Pan.
Pan's supposed to be el fauna.
Yeah.
But in its original Spanish version, like there's no Pan. Like the fauna is just el fauna, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So who the hell's
Who's Pan? There you go. That's your first documentary, The Search for Pan, and we can interview Guillermo del Toro. So tell us, who exactly was Pan?
No sé quién será el pan.
No sé quién será.
Vos conocéis quién es el pan.
Please, guys, turn down the music. It's taken 25 years to get here.
He's Mexican, not Spanish. I'm using like a Spanish.
I know. I love how he got them to turn the volume down on the music at the Golden Globes. He's like, dude, it's taken me 25 years to get here. Like, chill out. They kept it for a bit, and then you could tell somebody in the back was like, all right, fine.
Yeah, man. When the music plays, you gotta get out of the stage, man.
All right.
Yeah, so I was gonna tell you, speaking of documentaries, so we were talking about the Richard Stanley documentary.
Yeah.
Lost Soul. Yeah, I told you, like, there's like 2 sets that if I could go back in time would be sets I would love to work on. Would be the Island Dr. Moreau that John Frankenheimer directed, and the Casino Royale that Orson Welles did with all those guys, you know what I mean? Like Woody Allen.
Woody Allen, yeah.
And Devin. Because, you know, that set was just a party.
Yeah.
Because that movie makes no sense whatsoever.
The fact that they finished filming enough footage to cut into a movie is surprising.
They were all drunk and getting laid and probably just having like a grand old time, man. Like those guys were probably just stirring martinis while they were taking takes, man. Like that movie is completely like nonsensical.
They didn't. Well, I don't have a source on this, but I would guess that they didn't have a craft table. What they had was a craft bar.
Yeah.
And it was nothing but martinis. You know, different types of martinis along the table.
Oh, those dudes were drinking so many martinis, man. Old school martinis too, with a dry vermouth.
Uh-huh.
You know, like dirty martini. That stuff would have been awesome to work on. And then the Arrow to Moreau, because it's just a catastrophe that how can you not want to be witnesses there? And then you get like Marlon Brando and like Val Kilmer in his prime.
Yeah.
Where like they just have like these
battles,
unmatched egos, just ruining a film. And when I actually saw that documentary, it was kind of like, wow, it kind of like lived up to all my expectations of how it was behind the scenes of that film.
Yeah, that would have been great. I love, though, at the end of that documentary, how Richard Stanley ended up just hovering around long enough where he took a mask from one of the extras and was on set of the movie he got fired from directing.
That's so crazy, man.
And nobody knew? That's amazing.
Well, it was funny. One of the production, the people who were working the production was kind of like, it's so weird seeing this extra that's really good at doing his job and, you know, playing a monster, doing all this stuff, but he never takes off his mask.
It's almost like he's been involved during the whole pre-production.
That's hilarious.
That's crazy. All right, I think we should start wrapping it up because I am not 100% sure we can stream past an hour for the first few streams.
Has it been an hour already?
58 minutes.
Okay. Well, we'll I guess this was a fun first go at it.
Yeah. Sorry for the bumps and the delays. I'll try and get this Skype thing figured out so John's audio is a little better for the next time. Hopefully I don't pull more of my hair out. You know, I came in with the Tommy Wiseau glasses because I let my hair grow out, but dealing with that whole Skype microphone thing, I ended up like this again.
Oh, man, that's too fun.
Cool, man. It was good chatting with you.
Yeah, man, same here. We'll do it next week.
All right, cool. Don't hang up. I'll stop the stream in 1 second. Thanks for coming. If you liked the live show, if you're seeing it recorded, please hit like, subscribe, and comment below. Tell us whatever you think, whether you like it or you hate it. And if it's about the issues, I'm going to stab. Shut up. Comment below. All right. Thanks so much for watching. For you guys that are watching, thanks for the comments. We will chat with you next week.
Bye now.